Today on the Tiger Lacrosse Report, we'll preview the Tigers' game against the Georgetown Hoyas. Get ready, fans. The Tiger Lacrosse Report starts now.
For an athlete, there's nothing scarier than a torn ACL.
Athletes trust us with their care and their careers because we're a recognized leader in sports medicine.
Get back to your active life sooner with MedStar Sports Medicine.
White Market's ice cream plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and is locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl, chocolate-covered pretzel. How can you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. If you come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packets of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years for Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Hello, fans, and welcome to the Tiger Lacrosse Report. I'm your host, Spiro Morekas. After their season-opening victory, the Tigers will head to the road again to take on Georgetown for Game 2 of the season. As always, I'm joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Shawn Nadelen. And, Coach, you're taking on a Georgetown team that lost last week to Notre Dame in Texas. Prior to that, lost at High Point. So this is their first home game of the year. Obviously, they're going to want to come home and show that their fans that they're not really the team that was on the road the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, you got to imagine they're going to be hungry, and I don't want to say desperate, but definitely wanting to get a win. Just like anybody does in the game. But having 2 losses, on the road, they're going to be excited. I'm sure to be at home, they're excited to play against us and be able to put their best game out there. The first game against High Point, they were without their head coach due to an internal suspension, and then obviously Notre Dame's a tough team to face, and Notre Dame kind of ran away with that late in the second half. So Georgetown will be ready, I'm sure.
They've got weapons. Peter Conley, 6 goals in the first 2 games. He's obviously somebody your defense is going to have to key on.
Yeah, he's neat to watch on film, really aggressive. I like his personality as a player, to be honest with you, and he's really aggressive, likes to challenge his defensemen in all aspects. So he's a guy that wants the ball in the stick. We're going to have to pay attention to him, be very disciplined and sound on ball, but also be ready to support if and when needed.
When you have your first game under your belt like you did against Mount St. Mary's, and we talked about it in the previous show, and you had some things to clean up. Now you head to Game 2 again on the road. Is there a difference in how you will proceed during the week because you're on the road instead of at home?
Not really. With it being a travel day game, on game day, and not really having to travel on Friday, we won't mix up kind of what we do during the week. It's not like we're flying cross country or anything like that, so we don't have to worry about too big of a travel need. So we'll go through our week to week, in regards to, Monday is a lot of cleanup from the previous game, addressing certain things. Tuesday we start our prep work, and as well as paying attention to what we need to do to get better. That's kind of how our practices are split up half and half, focus on ourselves and focus on our opponent, for half of each practice.
Well, your opponent, Georgetown, this is kind of a weird stat. In the first 2 games, they've been outscored in the third quarter, 12-1. So I don't know what's happening at halftime, but when they come out, Have you seen anything on film as to why they've been so, I don't want to say horrible, but I don't know any other way to put it when you've been outscored 12-1.
Okay.
What the difference has been coming out of the locker room as opposed to what happened in the first half?
I don't know if it's been them as much as it's been the High Point and Notre Dame. Both those teams came out of halftime really gunning and playing fast and putting it to Georgetown. So I'm sure that's something that Georgetown's trying to address. I know we would, as a staff and as a team, try to figure out how to make that better. And obviously we got to be prepared for that come on Saturday.
Your defense, which played well against Mount St. Mary's the first game, they have one under their belt. How much, because you played defense, and how long do you think it takes for a group to gel? And is it possible to speed up that process?
It's hard to really understand how long it's going to take because, I don't think anybody can really predict that, by the fifth game we should be, firing on all cylinders. I think it's a matter of time with the type of teams that you're playing, the personnel that you have and, the chemistry. And then if you're rotating 5 guys in, if you're only playing 3, you would think if you're playing fewer guys, that chemistry gets tighter quicker. I did see a little bit of a difference in practice yesterday in regards to the intensity, the trust, and playing just a little bit more confident on the close defensive end than maybe we have previously. So maybe just that one game is giving them that little boost that we needed, and hopefully, obviously, as we go through the week, playing another team and build upon that, we can they'll start to figure out really what each other is capable of and how each other can really benefit the team as well as, as we're working together.
And also with Josh Miller at the goal, he finally got that first game under his belt. That's got to make him feel much more confident that, hey, I finally did play in a full game and I did okay.
Yeah, you would hope. You definitely would hope. He was challenged, not challenged as much as maybe we might see this weekend or, against the Loyola and stuff moving forward. But again, it gives him that full game to get his feet underneath them, see shots from different people, different spots, different offenses. Just allows him to get settled into the atmosphere and environment a little bit more. And we got to hope that helps him out.
Well, on the offensive end, Joe Sider barely played at all in the fall and in the preseason. His goals, 2 goals in the first game. How long is it going to take, you think, for Joe to get back to being 100% and being the player we've always seen?
I think it'll take him a few games, especially since he missed so much preseason as well. We thought he'd be back a little bit sooner than he was, and he played against Hobart and did, he was our best offensive player there and did really well. So that was promising. But I think it'll take him a couple games to find his groove. Took a couple shots that he probably shouldn't have taken against Mount, a couple easy ones. But again, I think it's Joe trying to get himself into the mix a little bit, get into the game, getting him to understand, maybe not forcing those, and then letting the game come to him a little bit more. But yeah, I think it'll come soon.
And he's closing in on 100 goals, 6 to go. The Tigers and Hoyas will face off at Cooper Field at 12. Ben Rosenbaum and Hunter Lochte will have the call on TowsonTigers.com starting at 11:45. So, Coach, good luck, and we'll see you next week, and hopefully you're 2-0.
Sounds good. Thanks, Spiro.
That will do it for us on today's episode of the Tiger Lacrosse Report. For head coach Shawn Nadelen, I'm Spiro Morekas. Thanks for joining us, and as always, go Tigers.